Hello, everybody. Andrew Full here, co-host of Serious Angler Podcast, aka the Captain. I'm going to talk to you today about drop shotting. We're going to go through two different rods, reels, line setup, hooks, maybe even a couple baits. So, to kind of get started here, the first thing I'm going to talk about is drop shotting on Lake Erie and dropping on them or casting. So, my favorite way to approach Lake Erie smallmouth is actually dropping on them. So you find them on your graph, and then you're going to pinpoint. You can tell if they're active or inactive based on the way they're reacting on your graph when you're scanning over top of them, but that's a different video for later. So the rod I like to use is the X Matrix Douglas by Douglas Outdoors DXS 61003XF. It's got a parabolic body to the rod and then an extra fast tip. So what that means is when you set that hook, so when you pop that hook into them and reel at the same time, it's going to hook them near the top of the mouth. So they're going to be pinned really well, less of a chance of them getting off. One of the biggest key things that I do when doing this is I actually will have my drag pretty tight because it's a forgiving rod. So with that taper, that parabolic taper in action of the rod, when you hit them and reel, you're going to have some giveaway. It is braid to fluoro. So P-line TCB braid, P-line tactical fluoro, which is a Japanese Toray blend. Very strong, subtle, very low memory. With this rod, though, what I really like about it is the fact that it's just under 4 ounces. I believe 3.7 ounces. So it's super light. It has Fuji reel seat, Fuji guides, EVA foam handle and butt, and a hook keeper down here at the end where you can put your tungsten weight. Now, when I'm dropping on them, I prefer a teardrop weight with the closed eye. So get the settle here. So with the closed eye. So what happens there is when that fish comes up shaking their head, because a lot of times we're hooking them in 30 to 50 foot of water. When they come up, and the smallmouth will race to the surface and then they'll jump, and then your tungsten weight goes flying. So having that closed loop, you're not going to lose as many weights, and it's going to save you a lot of money because we know these are like $6 a pack for 2 or 3 of them. Kind of absurd, the price of tungsten. Meat and potatoes, the hook. There's 3 hooks I use when I'm dropping on. One is an owner down shot, which is like a Texas style, weird, different bend to it. Owner mosquito light and an owner mosquito regular. Usually size 1, 2, or 1/0. On here, I have a size 1 with a 3-inch Jackal Cross tail shad, which I believe is the Soyama color, which mimics crawfish really well. Just kind of put it here real fast to talk about it. I like the 3000 size reel when I'm dropping on, because I'm able to gain more line as they come screaming to the surface. And also the drag tends to be a lot smoother on these 3000 size reels. So now we're going to get into casting or fishing weeds with the drop shot. So you'll notice a different color of blank here. This is the Douglas LRS S724XF. Now, it's the next step below the X Matrix. So it's like roughly a $200 price point. The X Matrix is around $300. It's still just as light. I believe this rod is 4.1 ounces. I have a 2500 Tatula here. Last year, I recently upgraded my reel. I had to try it out with the 3000. I'm going to be switching them all to 3000s here probably shortly. Along with the X Matrix, we have Fuji guides, Fuji reel seat, EVA foam handles. So you'll notice something a little different here. The last bait was nose hook for when I drop on them. When I cast, I like to use an owner down shot in size 2/0 or 3/0, sometimes 1/0, depending on what bait, if I'm threading it through or rigging it weedless. This one's set up for largemouth fishing currently, so I'm going to have it Texas rigged, so it's Tex posed, so the hook is just barely out the top. And when I'm casting or dropping in weed beds, give me 1 second here. When I'm casting or dropping in weed beds, I like the cylinder style drop shot weight, which will be this one right here. Still that closed loop eye because I don't want them tossing it. But the bait on this is an extra special one. You can kind of see that gray highlight there. This is a Western Fishing Operations PD worm. So it's a paddle drop worm. So it's got a little paddle tail. Some modifications we can do to it too, like take the tail off, but this is the 3.5-inch size. They also make a 4.5 and a 5.5. I've used all of them for power shotting scenarios, flipping weed beds, even going to a bait caster. This is a very good setup when fish are acting funny in certain situations on the inland Finger Lakes. Even on the Great Lakes, you can cast for them that way. I just prefer more of a minnow style bait and the hook going straight through or nose hooked. This whole outfit here is probably going to get you around $400, which is a pretty good price point for a medium level rod. The reel is one of the most important parts when coming to drop shot fishing, I think, because you need that extra smooth drag so you don't break your leader line. But when it comes to a rod, you do want something that's fairly sensitive, something that has some give in the middle of the rod with an extra fast or fast tip to it. So medium light. And the biggest part too is how light they are, because the lighter the rod, how balanced your rod is, you're going to have less arm fatigue throughout the day. So that's why I prefer these two Douglas rods with the Tatula reels, because they are very well balanced and you get almost no fatigue by the end of the day if you're fishing 8, 10, 12 hours. So if you do have any questions or comments, make sure you post them here at the bottom of the video. Also, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. We appreciate that. If you do have any questions at all, do not hesitate to reach out to me or Bailey, the host at Serious Angler, and we will get back to you usually pretty fast. So we appreciate you tuning in, and let us know if you have any questions or comments. Everybody, have a great day.